Hi everyone, welcome to Narayana's digital classes. So this is Prashant, physics faculty, and today we will do some problems in Newton's laws of motion. Okay. So here we will move to the first question. Yeah. So here there are two blocks. You can read the question. The elevator is going up with some acceleration g by 10, and the pulley and the string are light, and the pulley is smooth. So all are ideal cases. Pulley is smooth, spring is light. So the ideal cases. And if the reading of the spring balance is 0.8x, then x value is. So we basically need to find the reading of the spring balance, right? So how do I find? In the normal case, suppose if tension in this is T, I say tension in this part is 2T, right? Because the pulley should have zero net force. The pulley should have zero net force. So tension at these 2 points, if this is T, on the pulley it is 2T. So if tension here is 2T, that is what tension in the spring also, right? So tension in the spring is the spring balance reading. So I need to find 2T, or basically I need to find tension in the string, right? So in the Atwood's machine, that is pulley problems, in the normal case, how do I find tension? Suppose if the pulley is fixed, I know that directly tension is 2m1 m2z by m1 plus m2, right? 2m1 m2 by m1 plus m2 into z. In the normal case, that is when the pulley is not moving. But what happens now? The pulley is moving along with the lift with an acceleration of a upwards. So whenever you take pulleys in the lift or any blocks in the lift, you should consider pseudo forces also, right? So instead of just mg, the total force acting will be mg plus ma. Okay. So that is effective acceleration should be taken as g plus a. So that's what we do. Since the pulley is also moving up with an acceleration a, the effective acceleration becomes g plus a. So the total tension in this string or the tension in this string, that becomes 2m1 m2 by m1 plus m2 into g plus a. That's the only change we do when the lifts are moving up. Okay. If the lift is moving up, g minus a. Yeah, so we'll find the tension. So that would be 2 into m1, m1 is 3 by 2, m2 that is 3 kgs, by m1 plus m2, 4.5. So I write it as 9 by 2 into z plus a, z plus g by 10. Acceleration of the lift is given as z by 10. Okay. So what do I get here? I get 2 into z plus z by 10, that is 2 into 11 z by 10. And z value is given as 10. So I cancel this. So tension is 22 newtons. Okay. So if tension in this string is 22 newtons, we ultimately need to find tension in this. That is the tension in the spring, or that is the reading of the spring. Right. So 2T value would be, tension is 22. So that is 22 newtons. So this would be 44 newtons. Okay. So this is the reading of the spring, or we say tension in the spring, okay, or force in the spring, right? Now that reading is given as 0.8x. So that means 0.8x is given as 44, which means x value is simply 44 by 0.8. Or you can say 440 by 8 x value. Okay. So that is 110 by 2, or x is 55. Clear? Yeah. So you can note it down. And remember only this point, whenever the lifts are moving up with acceleration a, the effective acceleration becomes g plus a. Whenever the lifts are moving down with acceleration a, the effective acceleration becomes g minus a. Rest all the formulas, they remain same. Even the equations, the free body diagrams, they remain same, except you take the pseudo force also. Okay. And spring reading is always tension in the spring. Okay. So let's move to the next question. Yeah. So here is another question. There are smooth blocks everywhere of same mass are connected by an inextensible string, massless string. So again ideal cases, there is no friction, strings are ideal and everything is ideal. Okay. Lift is going down with an acceleration a as shown in the figure. The value of a, the value of acceleration of the lift, so that acceleration of block a with respect to ground will be minimum. Okay. So I need acceleration of block a with respect to ground. That is, if I take observer on the ground, what does he observe? He says block A is moving down with acceleration a, because it is inside lift. Lift is moving down with acceleration a, so the block should also move along with it, right? So it has an acceleration A in downward direction, and because of this string it may also slide in horizontal direction. So he says it is moving in horizontal direction also, let's say that is A dash. Okay. Now this should be minimum, root of A plus A dash whole square should be minimum. Okay. So that the acceleration of a block A with respect to ground should be minimum. So root of A plus A dash whole square, sorry, A square plus A dash whole square should be minimum. This is total acceleration of block A with respect to ground. Okay. So now if I take observer inside the lift also, another observer inside the lift, he says tension in this is m into g minus a, right? Because again the effective g value becomes g minus a. So he says tension in this string is m into g minus a. So tension here is also m into g minus a. So what would be the acceleration of block A in horizontal direction? Effective acceleration of block A in horizontal direction would be tension acting by mass. So acceleration in this direction is g minus a. So A dash is simply g minus a. So this should be minimum, root of A square plus g minus a whole square should be minimum. So you can say that is root of A square plus g square plus A square minus 2ZA, that should be minimum. This is root of 2A square plus G square minus 2ZA, this should be minimum. Okay, that term inside should be minimum. So when do we get minimum or maximum? When the derivative is 0, right? So I will derivate this whole term, okay, and its derivative should be 0 for minimum or maximum. So if I derive the inner term, only the inner term, because if that is minimum, its square root will also be minimum. So I get 4a, g square is constant, so its derivative is 0, minus 2g into a, its derivative is minus 2z. Okay, a is the variable here, this should be 0. So 4a is equals to 2z, or a is g by 2. Okay. So the acceleration should be g by 2. Now keep in mind that you need acceleration of the block with respect to ground. So it has two components, not just A. When he is observing this block, since the lift is moving, he says that is also moving downwards. And because of the tension, it also moves towards right. And the acceleration in horizontal direction will be same for this observer outside and also for the observer inside. Okay. Because the observer inside has no acceleration in horizontal direction. So both feel the same way about the horizontal direction. Okay. And for him tension will become m into g minus a. Okay. Okay. So I hope that is clear. So moving to the next question. Yeah, so there are some statements given and a situation is given here. A book leans against a crate on a table, so against some box, some crate, it leans against this and neither of them is moving. None of them are moving, so both are in equilibrium. Okay. So then the incorrect statements are. Right. So the first statement, see the first statement, it says force of the book on the crate is less than that of the crate on the book. That is by default wrong, right? By Newton's third law, force by the book on crate should be equals to force on the book by the crate. They should have equal and opposite forces, action and reaction. So this is, we can say straight away wrong option. They are action and reaction pairs. Whatever force that is acting here, that is normal force, that should be equal and opposite, action and reaction pairs. They should always be equal. So you cannot say the forces are, one is less than the other, they should be equal. Okay. Next, although there is no friction acting on the crate, if there is no friction acting on the crate, it will have to move away. Because of this normal force acting on it, it will have to move away. But this is at equilibrium means there must be friction. Okay. So the option, so the statement opens with although there is no friction acting on the crate, that itself is wrong. Without friction, it cannot be at rest. Okay. And let's read the remaining statement. There must be friction acting on the book or else it will fail. So the second part, it looks correct because without friction this will fall. Okay. Because on the book also there is one normal acting here from the ground and its weight is acting downwards. Okay. So this upward normal and weight may be balanced, but there is a horizontal force because of the contact. There must be some force to balance it so that it is in equilibrium. So there should be friction on the book also, friction on the crate also. Both should have friction. So this is incorrect statement. So this is one of the answers. Okay, these are incorrect statement. I am marking only incorrect statements. Next, net force acting on the book is 0. Obviously, it is not moving. It is in equilibrium, means net force is 0. So this statement is a correct statement, and it is not the answer. You need incorrect statements. Okay. Next, the direction of the friction force acting on the book is the same as direction as the friction acting on the crate. So why is crate trying to move? It's trying to move because of the normal acting on it, right? Normal is acting towards right. So there should be some force trying to stop it. So the friction on the crate should act in negative direction or towards left. Okay. What about friction on the book? On the book there is a force already in the left direction. So it is trying to move towards left. So the friction should act in the opposite direction. Friction should act towards right on the book. So they are not in same direction, they are in opposite direction, but the statement says the direction is same. So this is also an incorrect statement. So you can say the answers are A, B, D, only option C is correct, so that's not the answer. In equilibrium, net force should always be 0 on any object. So let's move to the next question. So here is the next question. In the given diagram, system is in equilibrium. So initially everything is in equilibrium. Okay. If applied force F is doubled, by how much distance the massless block will, the massless block will move towards right before the new equilibrium is achieved. So what do you mean by massless block? Net force on it should always be 0, right? He is saying the system is in equilibrium, so even if it has mass, net force should be 0. Now the massless block means on massless block net force should always be 0 because net force is m into a, mass itself is given as 0. So net force on any massless object should always be 0, whether it is a pulley, string or anything. Okay. So now let us see what forces are acting on this. Okay. So if there is an expansion in the spring, some expansion x1, there is a spring force in it, right, kx1, that is also called as tension in the spring. So tension throughout this will be same. The same tension T, which is kx1. So if tension T is acting here, tension T is acting here. So on the block 2T is acting. Okay. So on the block net force acting towards right is F, net force acting towards left is T plus 2T, 3T. So they should be equal. Okay. And what is T? T is tension in the spring. If it has an expansion x1, the tension is K into x1. So initially this is the condition given. Force is 3kx1 or 3t. Now what happened? The massless block will move towards the right before the new equilibrium is achieved if the force is doubled. Now the force is made 2F. So let's say the force has become 2F and let's say tension has also changed to T dash. So this is T dash, T dash, T dash and this becomes 2T dash. But again you will get a similar equation because again it's a massless block, net force should be 0. So what I say, 2F is equals to 3T dash in the second case. And let's say this has moved forward by a distance y. So if that moves by a distance y, by how much distance this pulley moves? Pulley also moves by a distance y, right? I am drawing the new position here. Okay. So this would be the new position of the block if it moves a small distance y. Now the pulley also moves by distance y. So if pulley moves by distance y, you need an extra thread of 2y here, right? Similarly, if this part is also moving from this point to this point, you need an extra thread of y here. Okay. So to accommodate the length, to accommodate the new position, if the pulley moves towards right by a distance y, 2y is the extra thread required, y on the upper side, y on the lower side, right? And similarly, this point here also moves away by a distance y. So here also new part of thread is required, y. So total 3y is required, but where does it come from? String cannot expand, right? But spring can expand. So the new expansion in the spring is initial expansion plus y. Okay. And he is asking about this y, how much the block will move towards right. Okay. So what are the conditions we have? Final expansion is x1 plus 3y, right? Because if it moves by distance y, the new length of the string required is 3y. That is provided only by the expansion of the spring. So spring expanded by 3y more. Already there is expansion x1, some more expansion 3y. So the final expansion in the spring is x2. So how do I find T dash? Final expansion in the spring is x2. So force is k into x2. So k into x2. And instead of x2 again I will substitute this. So x2 value is x1 plus 3y. Okay. And what is 3k x1 here? 3k x1 value is simply f. So I say 2f is 3k x1 plus 9ky. Okay. And 3k x1 is just f, right? 3k x1 is just f, so I substitute f here. So I finally get f is equals to 9ky and y is equals to f by 9k. So that is the distance moved by the massless block. If it moves forward a distance by y, it needs an extra thread 3y. That extra thread can only be provided by expansion of the spring because the other end is fixed here. Okay. And string cannot expand, only springs can expand. So spring expands by 3y. Okay. So the final answer would be f by 9k. Okay. Hope that is clear. Okay. So we'll move to the next question. Yeah. So here there is again a uniform flexible chain of length 1.5 meters. It rests on a fixed smooth sphere of radius r equals to 2 by pi meters. Okay. So its radius is 2 by pi. Okay. Such that one end A of the chain at the top of the sphere while the other end B is hanging. So one end is freely hanging, the other end is attached to the string. Acceleration of the chain just after the thread is burnt. So if the thread is burnt or if the thread is cut, it starts sliding down, right, because of its weight. So we need to find the acceleration. Okay. So how do I find length of this part? Length of the part that is in contact with the sphere. He is saying total length of the chain is 1.5 and he gave radius. Radius is 2 by pi. Okay. Radius is 2 by pi. So how much is this length? That is 1/4 of a circle, right? So 1/4 of 2 pi r. So pi r by 2. So this length is pi r by 2. So pi into radius itself is 2 by pi, pi r by 2. Okay. This length is pi r by 2, which is just 1 meter. So this length is 1 meter, which means the remaining length is 0.5 meters. Okay. So on this 0.5 meters, force is directly acting downwards. Gravitation force is directly acting downwards, and that force will create a acceleration downwards. Right. But what about on the part here? So here on the part, if you take any small mass, its weight will be acting downwards, right? Its weight will be acting downwards. It will have a component along the normal and along the tangent. Okay. So the weight component along the normal will be balanced by the surface. Okay. On the surface, this is in contact, but this normal force or this normal component of the weight will be balanced by the surface force, surface contact force. So what creates acceleration is only this horizontal component. At every point, only the tangential component will create the acceleration. So we need to find what force is acting along the tangent, okay, throughout this part. In the remaining part, it is simply vertical, there is no contact. Okay. So here we have already found out this is 1 meter, remaining part is 1.5 meters. Okay. So now how do I find only the tangential forces acting on this chain from here to here? Okay. Remaining part I simply know it. If it is 0.5 meters, its total mass I know, rests on a smooth. Okay, its mass is not given, fine. So we take mass per unit length as lambda. Okay. Mass per unit length as lambda, that is linear density we say. Okay. So why? Because total mass is not given, but it is given as uniform. So everywhere I am considering the mass per unit length as lambda, right? So now I need to find only the tangential component force at each point, right? So I choose a random point. At an angle theta, I take a small element, which makes an angle d theta. Okay. So what would be length of this element? Length of this element is r d theta, right? Length is r d theta. So how do I find its mass? Mass per unit length into length. Mass per unit length is lambda. So this is mass of this part, right? And because of its mass, it has weight acting downwards. Let's say its mass is small mass, that is dm. Okay. This is what is dm, small mass of this small part, dm. So it has a weight acting vertically downward, dmg. So if this is theta, how do I find this component along the normal? If this is theta, this is 90 minus theta. So this component becomes dmg into cos 90 minus theta, that is sin theta. So this is important for me. Along the tangent, what is the component? Dm into z into theta, into cos theta. Okay. So this is the force along the tangent. So I need to add all such tangential components, okay, because only they are creating acceleration along the length, right? How does it slide? Here at this point, acceleration will be along the chain, and even at this point, acceleration will be along the chain, along the tangents. Acceleration will be always along the length of the string. So I am finding just forces along the length of the string, that is along the tangents. So at one point, I got this as dm into z cos theta. Right. Small tangential force acting on a small element is dm into g cos theta. Okay. So dm, that is small mass of the part, is r d theta into lambda into g into cos theta. So that is small force acting on this element. How do I find the total force from here to here? I just integrate it to find the total force along the tangent. From limits, I need to take elements from this point to this point, that is 0 to pi by 2. So 0 to pi by 2. So I can say r lambda into z into r into integral cos theta d theta, that is sin theta, between the limits 0 to pi by 2. Okay. I took all the constants out, r, lambda, g, they are constants. In the integral, I am left with integral cos theta d theta. Integral cos theta d theta is sin theta between 0 to pi by 2. So sin pi by 2 minus 0. Sin 90 is 1. So this is the force acting along the tangent from this point to this point. Okay. Lambda into g into r. R is radius, r you can again write as 2 by pi. Okay. And next, for the remaining part, what is the force along the tangent? For the remaining part, length is half meter, right? So mass is half into lambda. Okay. Length into linear density. So for the remaining part, this is the mass, half meter into lambda. I got this length as 1 meter, so this is 0.5 meters. Okay. Total is 1.5 meters. So now what's the total force acting along the tangent? Along the tangent, here I have half lambda plus here I have lambda gr. Okay, sorry. Force, right, into z. Okay, this is mass into z. That is the weight acting on this, force acting on this along the tangent. So the total force would be, total force along the tangent would be lambda gr plus 0.5 into lambda g. Okay. That is total force acting. How do I find acceleration? Total force by the total mass. How do I find total mass? 1.5 meters is the length. So 1.5 meters is the length into linear density. Okay. So that is total mass of the string. And I need to calculate only acceleration along the string, because accelerations will be only along the string. It cannot move perpendicular to the surface, right? So I need only tangential forces. So I took a random element, took tangential force on it, calculated the total tangential force from here to here. For this vertical part, all the weight is acting tangentially only along the string. So this is the total force by lambda. So what do I get? So this is total force by mass. So this is the acceleration, final acceleration. This is force, force acting on this plus force acting on this. Okay. So lambda gets cancelled. So I get acceleration as, so here I get acceleration as, or I am moving to the next slide. So if lambda gets cancelled, I get ZR plus lambda Z by 1.5 or Z into lambda gets cancelled. So if I take Z common, R plus 0.5 by 1.5. So R value I already have 2 by pi. So I just substitute 2 by pi here. So Z into 2 by pi plus half by 1.5 by 3 by 2. Okay. So this is the final acceleration. So here the important point is to calculate only the tangential forces. The weight along the normal will be balanced by the surface contact force, normal force. Okay. So I don't require this component of the weight, okay, and I don't require the total weight also. I need only weight or the gravitation force acting along the tangents at every point. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Yeah, this is some other situation given. Man of mass 75 kgs uses 2 pulleys to raise himself with an acceleration of 2 meters per second square. So his acceleration is upwards with 2 meters per second square. Man stands on a light weighing machine fitted on horizontal platform of mass 25 kg. So he is standing on a weighing machine which measures only the normal force. Weighing machines measure normal forces. Okay. The reading of the weighing machine is 60 kN, where k is. So you need k value. So the normal is given as, normal force is given as some 60 into k. K is some constant, 60 into k newtons. Okay. So I need to find the normal force basically. So how do I find normal force here? Let's say tension in the string is T. So tension here is T, tension here is T. So tension acting on the man is also T and T. Okay. So I will take the free body diagram of the man first. So what are the forces acting on him? The forces acting on him are his own weight. His mass is given as 75 kg. So his own weight is 75 into G. Okay. His own weight is mg acting downwards, and because he is standing on something, he will have a normal force, he will have a contact force. So that contact force acts in him in upward direction. And what else? 2 tensions are acting on him in upward direction, the ropes are pulling him. So there is 2t here. And finally he has an acceleration of 2 upwards. Right. So how do I write the force equation here? Net force in the direction of acceleration, that is 2t plus n minus 75g. Okay. Net force in the direction of acceleration is m into a. So 75 into 2, m into a. That is one equation I have, equation 1. Okay. Let's say that is equation 1. A net force equals to m into a. Now let us take free body diagram of the this block also. Okay. So that block has mass of 25 kgs, or the platform has mass of 25 kgs. So if I take free body diagram of this plank, what are the forces acting on it? Its own weight mg is acting, so 25g. Okay. Since he is standing on it, a normal is also acting. Normal is acting towards this, right? Pushing force always. Okay. And since there are 2 threads, a net force of 2t is acting upwards, and this also has an acceleration of 2 because they are in contact. The man and the platform are in contact. So if the man moves up, the platform also moves up with same acceleration 2. So what's the force equation here again? Net force in upward direction, that is 2t minus n, okay. 2t minus n, and here he has 25g downwards also, minus 25g is equals to 25 into a, okay, m into a. So that is the second equation. And what do we need here? We need reading of the weighing machine, that is we need normal. So if you add the 2 equations, normal gets cancelled, but we need normal, we don't require tension. So let us subtract the equations. So if I subtract 1 from 2 or 2 from 1, 2t gets cancelled, and here I get n minus n, n minus of minus n, 2n. Okay, I am subtracting the equations, 1 minus 2. If I add, n gets cancelled, but I need normal. Okay. So n minus of minus n, 2n, minus 75, minus of minus 25. Okay. Minus 75 plus 25, minus 50g. Okay. This is 75 into 2 minus 25 into 2, that is 50 into 2. So I get 2n is equals to, what do I get? 50 into z plus a. Okay. So normal value is 25 into z plus a. So if z is 10, you can say 25 into 12. Okay. So how much is this? 5 into 5 into 12. 5 into 12 is 60. So 5 into 60 is the normal. Okay. 5 into 60 is the normal. So k value is 5. But what I can do is, in a much simpler way, this is same as he is moving up inside a lift, right? He has an acceleration of 8, that is 2 meters per second square upwards, means it is same as moving inside a lift. It is just like moving inside a lift with an acceleration of 2 upwards. So I can straight away say apparent weight is m into g plus a, right? You need not even take all the constraint, all the free body diagrams and all. Since he is moving up with an acceleration of 2 upwards, that is like he is moving inside a lift with an acceleration 2 upwards. So the normal force becomes, or his apparent weight becomes m into g plus a. Okay. But there will be a little change, because in the normal lift he won't be acted upon with the tensions. He will have only the normal, but here there are 2 tensions also. So that's why we had to take all the free body diagrams. Otherwise, if there are no tensions, if he is just moving up with an acceleration 2 standing on a platform, you can directly say it is normal is m into g plus a. The only change here is there are 2 other forces acting, 2 tensions. So there will be a little change. Okay. Otherwise, if he is just standing and moving up with an acceleration of 2, you can say the total normal is m into g plus a. But in this case, there are 2 other tensions also, so we have to do all this procedure. So the k value is 5 finally. So we'll move to the next question. Yeah, so here is the next question. So here it says 2 small blocks of same mass are connected by an inextensible and massless string. So ideal case again, right? They are passing over a smooth pulley and kept inside a lift. Lift is moving downwards with some acceleration a. Okay. Now the value of a, so that acceleration of the block a with respect to ground will be minimum. Okay. So with respect to ground means, suppose if I take an observer on the ground. So when he observes block a, he observes 2 accelerations. Since the lift is going down, he says the block a also is going down with the same acceleration a, right? And apart from that, because of this block, it also starts sliding forward. So let's say that acceleration is a dash, horizontal acceleration is a dash, and vertical acceleration is a. So that is what this observer can see, right? So with respect to him, what is the total acceleration of the block? So he will say total acceleration of the block a is root of a square plus a dash whole square. Now this should be minimum. So we need to find a, so that this is minimum. So first let us find a relation between a dash and a. Okay. Now this observer can see a dash and a, but if I take an observer inside the lift, he can see only a dash, because he is also moving down with the same acceleration a. So he can see only the horizontal acceleration a dash. Okay. And what are the forces with respect to him? So since he is non-inertial observer, he is an accelerating observer downwards. So we should consider pseudo force upwards also in all the bodies. Okay. So suppose if I take the free body diagram of this, there is tension acting on this, pseudo force m into a is acting, okay. Acceleration is downwards, so pseudo force upwards, its weight is also acting downwards, mg. Okay. And he can clearly say that if this block a is moving forward with acceleration a dash, this block b should also move downwards with an acceleration a dash. So with respect to him, what is the force equation you can write for this block? Net force in the direction of acceleration is m into a. Okay. So for this block, with respect to this observer, net forces acting are mg downwards minus t minus ma dash. Okay. That is the net force that should be equals to mass into its acceleration. Okay. That is equals to m into a dash, right? So what do I get here? I get tension. So I get tension as mg minus ma dash minus ma dash, mg minus 2 ma dash. Okay. Net force on this is mg minus t minus ma. Okay. Net 2 forces upwards, 1 force downwards, that is equals to m into its acceleration, right? So now I got tension. So if I get tension here, I can clearly find a dash again, right? So what is a dash? Tension by mass. Okay. So again I say A dash value is tension by mass, right? Because A dash is finally its acceleration. Okay, I need to find just A dash, I don't require T. So I found out T only to find out A dash, right? So acceleration of this is tension by mass. So tension by mass, so A dash value will be, you can say, G minus 2 into A dash, okay. Or I can clearly say 3A dash is G. Oh, sorry, there is a small mistake. It's not A dash, okay. This is A, because there is a pseudo force that is just A, not A dash. So this won't be 2m A dash. Yeah. So here you get tension is equals to mg minus ma minus ma dash. A and A dash, they are separate. Okay. This ma is pseudo force due to the acceleration of the observer, right? So now I got tension. Now how do I get its acceleration? Acceleration of this block is tension by mass. The only force acting in horizontal direction is tension. So again acceleration of the block A dash is T by m. So that is G minus A minus A dash. Okay. Or I get 2A dash as G minus A. So which implies A dash value is G minus A by 2. So I get A dash in terms of A. Now what do I need? I need total acceleration. So total acceleration is root of A square plus A dash whole square. A dash value is G minus A by 2. G minus A by 2 whole square. Now I need this to be minimum. So how do I find minimum of anything? Its derivative should be 0, right? So the derivative of inner term should be 0. Okay. We need A values such that, right, so that this total value is minimum. So I will take the total inner term and find its derivative. So derivative of A square is 2A, okay, and derivative of G minus A by 2 whole square. So that is plus 2 into G minus A by 2 into A has a coefficient of minus half, okay, minus half. Okay. So this should be 0, this derivative should be 0. So what do I get here? I get 2A equals to G minus A by 2. Or I get 4A equals to G minus A, or 5A is G. Okay. So A should be G by 5. Okay. The condition I took here is the derivative of the inner term should be 0, so that the term becomes minimum, okay, minimum or maximum. In both the cases the derivative is 0. So A should be G by 5. The acceleration of the lift should be G by 5. Okay. So let us move to the next question. Next, there is some block string arrangement given again, pulley block system. In the arrangement shown in the figure, all the contact surfaces are smooth, strings and pulleys are massless. Masses are given, m1 is 1 kg, m2 is 2 kg and m3 is 4 kg. Okay. Now I need to select correct statements among them. So first, acceleration of the block of mass m3. So how do I find its acceleration? Simple constraint relation, if this moves down with an acceleration a, this should also move forward with an acceleration a, right? Because they are connected by same string. If this moves down by x, this should also move forward by x. So they have same acceleration, right? And what about acceleration of this? Again, if this block moves by a distance x, pulley also moves by a distance x, right? So from this position, pulley moves by a distance x. Okay. So if this moves by a distance x, extra thread required is 2x, right? If the pulley moves from this position to this position through a distance x, extra length of the thread required is x on the upper side, x on the lower side, 2x is required. Okay. So where does that extra thread 2x come? Only if this moves forward by 2x. So if the block m2 moves by distance x, this block should move by 2x. So if its acceleration is a, its acceleration is 2a. Okay. So I have the basic constraint relation, that is relation between their accelerations a and 2a. Now what is the relation between tensions? If this tension is T, so this is another string, so tension in this will be different. So that is T dash, but here I have 2T dash. Okay. Now I need acceleration of mass m3. So for any acceleration, if we need to find the value of accelerations, we need free body diagrams. So let's take free body diagrams of all of them. So first let's take the free body diagram of M3. So M3 is of mass 4 kgs. So this is M3 and this is 4 kgs. What are the forces acting on it? Its own weight, 4 into Z, 40 newtons is acting, G is 10. So 40 newtons is acting downwards, tension is acting in upward direction, and it has an acceleration A downwards, right? So what's the force equation? Net force, 40 minus T is M into A. So here I get the first equation. The first equation is net force 40 minus T is equals to M into A, 4 into A. Next let's take free body diagram of T dash, that is free body diagram of M1. So on M1 what are the forces acting? M1 is of mass 1 kg. The only force acting on this is T dash in forward direction, and we know it has an acceleration 2A. So I say T dash is equals to, that is net force on this is equals to mass into A. Mass is 1 into acceleration is 2A. So 1 into 2A. So this is another equation, second equation, and let's take the free body diagram of M2 also. So for M2 what are the forces acting? It is of mass 2 kgs. Force acting on M2 is T towards right, 2T dash towards left. T towards right and 2T dash towards left. And I know it has an acceleration A in forward direction, right? M2 has an acceleration A. So again I write a force equation, T minus 2T dash, net force equals to M into A, 2 into A. Okay. And here I have T dash value already, T dash value is 2A, so I substitute in this. Okay. T dash value is 2A, so this is M into A. So I get T value as 6A. We are finally trying to find acceleration of this block, because the first statement is acceleration of M3. So we are trying to find the value of A. So now here I get T equals to 6A. So I take the first equation, 40 minus 6A is equals to 4 into A. So 40 equals to 10A, or A is 4. So acceleration of the M3 is 4 meters per second square downwards. A simple assumption of accelerations are simple, finding relation between them and then free body diagrams. In all the Newton's laws we only have those two steps, finding the relation between accelerations and then drawing free body diagrams, writing the force equations. Okay. So I got acceleration of mass M3 is 4, so this is a correct statement. And what would be acceleration of mass M1? 2A, 2 into 4, 8. So this is not correct option, this is a wrong option. Next, tension in the string connecting the blocks, masses M3 and M2. So tension in this string connecting M3 and M2, that is T value. So here I have T value is 6 into A value is 4, so 6 into 4, 24. So this is also correct, tension is 24. Next, tension in the string connecting block of mass M1 and M2. Yeah, so maybe in this string. So in this string, T dash value is required. So in this string, how do I find T dash? T dash is the tension in that, and T dash value is 2A. So 2 into 4, just 8 newtons. Okay. So this is also wrong. Okay. So only A and C are correct. Okay. In every Newton's laws problems, this is what we do. Whenever there is pulley block system, you take acceleration relations, that is constraint relation, find a relation between accelerations. Next, draw free body diagrams. Next, write force equations, Newton's second law equation, force equation. Net force in the direction of acceleration is M into A. So you can get all the accelerations, tensions and everything. So let's move to the next question. Yep. Again, two blocks of masses 2.9 kgs and 1.9 kgs. Okay, this is 2.9, okay, not 2.8. So 2.9 kgs and 1.9 kgs are suspended from a rigid support by two inextensible wires, each of length 1 meter. Okay. The lower wire has the upper wire has negligible mass and the lower wire has a uniform mass of 0.2 kg per meter. Okay. So this length is 1 meter, right? length of the string is 1 meter and it has a mass of 0.2 kg per meter. So it also has a mass of 0.2 kgs. Okay. So I can say in the whole system there is a mass of 2.9 plus 1.9 plus 0.2, that is 5 kgs mass. Okay. So together this system has a mass of 5 kgs, 2.9 plus 1.9 plus 0.2. Okay. The whole system of blocks, wires and support have an upward acceleration of 0.2. So again this whole system, that is along with this fixation, is moving upwards with an acceleration of 0.2 meters per second square. The acceleration of gravity is 9.8 meters per second square, G value is given. Tension at the midpoint of the upper wire. So basically need tension at the midpoint of this upper wire. Okay. So what do? If I need tension here, I take free body diagram of the remaining part, because everything is moving together as a single object. So if I take this whole system, right, I am taking this whole system, here I need the tension, at this point I need the tension, and within this system there is 5 kgs mass, right, block plus this wire, everything is moving upwards, as a single object. So there is an object of 5 kgs in my system, and there is a tension T acting here at the midpoint, that is what is required, and the upper wire is massless, so everywhere tension is same T. Yeah, so and this has an acceleration of 0.2 upwards also. This system has an acceleration of 0.2 upwards and its weight is also acting downwards. Weight is 5 into Z. 5 into Z is acting downwards, mg. So write a force equation. Net force in the direction of acceleration is T minus mg, that is equals to m into 0.2. So tension is 5Z plus 5 into 0.2, so 5 into Z plus 0.2. So 5 into 9.8 plus 0.2, 10. So tension is 15 newtons. Okay. So tension at the midpoint of the upper wire is 15 newtons, 10 into 5. So X value is 5. Or again you can say like this is all moving upwards with an acceleration A. So I can say its apparent weight is m into Z plus A. So the tension required in the upper string is m into G plus A, 5 into G plus A, that is what we got finally, 5 into G plus A. The only force balancing the weight of that objects is the tension here. So this tension should be equals to apparent weight. So that's a simple question. So we'll move to the next question. Yeah, in the arrangement shown, by what acceleration the buoy of mass 50 kgs must go up so that 100 kg block remains stationary? So it's a simple question, because whenever you see stationary, that means everything is in equilibrium. So when there is equilibrium, you can directly equate the forces in every direction. Stationary on the wedge is fixed and the friction is absent everywhere. Yeah, so you need to find acceleration of the buoy, acceleration of the man or acceleration of the buoy, and he is climbing up. So take free body diagrams. Net force on this should be 0 because this should not be moving. Okay. So what are the forces acting on it? Tension T is acting here and one component of weight mg sin theta is acting here. So 100 G, that is mg, sin 53 is acting in this direction and this is not moving. So net force along the plane should be 0 for this. So I got tension value. Tension is mg sin theta, that is 100 G into sin 53. Next, take the free body diagram of the man. Man is moving up. Okay. So on this man of 50 kgs, what are the forces acting? Tension in the string is acting upwards here and his own weight is acting downwards. His own weight is 50 into Z and he has some acceleration A. We need to find this acceleration A. So write a force equation here. He is moving up. So net force in the direction of acceleration T minus mg equals to m into A, 50 into A. Okay. So again I get tension is equals to m into G plus A, 50 into G plus A. And here I already have the value of tension 100 G sin 53 and G value is 10. So this is 100 into G into sin 53. Sin 53 is 4 by 5. So 4 by 5, 50 into 10 plus A, or I can say 50 into 10 plus A, so 500 plus 50A. Okay. So I directly get A value here. Okay. So this is 800, 800 minus 500, 300 is 50A. So I get acceleration as 6. So the acceleration with which he should move is 6. Okay. So whenever there is equilibrium, the problem becomes easier because in equilibrium net forces will be 0. You don't have to assume the acceleration or anything. So this is not moving because of the tension, but tension is too high. So he is moving up because of the tension. Okay. So next, let's move to the next question. Again, if the tension T is needed to hold the cart in equilibrium, so straight away whenever there is equilibrium, you can directly say the problem is easier because in equilibrium, you don't have to assume any accelerations, nothing is moving, just balance the forces. Okay. So if the tension T needed to hold the cart, so this tension needed is given but X value is unknown. So basically we need to find tension in this so that everything is in equilibrium. So if everything is in equilibrium, this W is not moving in any direction, right? Along the plane or perpendicular to the plane, it is not moving. And why is this cart trying to move? On the cart, because of the contact with the block, there is a normal force in this direction. Okay. So if this is theta, we know this component would become n sin theta. Okay. So in horizontal direction, there is a force on the cart. So it is trying to move towards right, so you need to apply tension towards left and stop it. So how much tension should you apply? Exactly equals to n sin theta. So the tension required is n sin theta. Okay. This is from the free body diagram of the wedge or the cart. Now how do I find this normal? I know this block of weight W is also not moving. It is on the plane in equilibrium. So perpendicular to the plane, net force should be 0. So what are the forces acting on this? Normal is acting because of the contact, and here its weight component W cos theta is acting, right? Whenever there is weight on an inclined plane, mg sin theta along the plane, mg cos theta perpendicular to the plane. So W cos theta, and this is also in equilibrium. So I should say n is W cos theta because it is in equilibrium. So what do I get? Tension. Tension is W into cos theta. Normal is W cos theta into sin theta. Okay. So theta is given as 30 degrees. We can substitute it. Cos 30 root 3 by 2 and sin 30 half. So W root 3 by 4. So this X value is 4. Okay. So again, it's a pretty simple question. As soon as you see equilibrium, just equate the forces. Let's move to the next question. So here is another question. Two masses of 10 kg and 5 kg are suspended from a rigid support. So they are initially suspended. System is pulled down with a force of 150 newtons attached to the lower mass. The string attached to the support breaks. So this string suddenly breaks. So what happens? Because of this force and because of weight, both are acting downwards. So they start moving downwards. In case the force continues to act, so this force is still acting. The tension acting between the two masses is. So I need tension acting between them. Right. So once this string breaks, I know both of them will move downwards because of weight and this extra force. So I just take free body diagrams of them. So on 10 kg block, what are the forces acting? There is a tension acting because of the string between them, and its weight is acting m into z, 100 newtons. Okay. And what do I know? It has an acceleration a downwards. So let's say the acceleration is a. Okay. Next, on the 5 kg block, what are the forces acting? Its own weight m into z is acting 50 newtons plus the extra force 150 newtons is also acting. and apart from that there is a tension here acting, that is T upwards, and this is also moving down with acceleration A. They should move together because they are connected by a string here. Okay. Yep. So here what's the force equation I write? T plus 100, okay, net force in downward direction is equals to mass into A, that is 10 into A. Okay. And here what's the equation I get? 50 plus 150, 200 minus T is equals to M into A. Okay. So now what do I need? I need tension. So I have to leave the tension term and I have to eliminate the acceleration terms. So I will multiply this whole equation with 2. Okay. So this becomes 400 minus 2T is equals to 10A. Okay. Now I subtract these two equations. So what do I get? T plus 100, so 100 minus 400 on one side and T minus of minus 2T. So if I subtract these two equations, first minus second, okay, this is the first equation and this is the second equation, T minus of minus 2T, 3T plus 100 minus 400, minus 300 is 0. So which means tension is 100 newtons. So tension between them is 100 newtons. Okay. So again let's move to another question. Yep. So here there are two bodies of masses 3 kgs and 2 kgs. They are connected by a long string and the string is made to pass over a smooth fixed pulley. So the basic general case, there is a pulley and on one side I have 2 kg block, okay. On the other side I have a 3 kg block. Initially the bodies are held at the same level and released from rest. So they are released from rest from the same level. Okay. So what happens? Because of the force there is an acceleration and you need the velocity of the 3 kg body after 1 second. We just need the velocity of this body after 1 second. So first let's find the acceleration when they are released. How do you find acceleration? So acceleration is simply m2 minus m1 into z by m1 plus m2, okay. Net force by total mass. So I get the acceleration as 3 minus 2 into z, z let's take 10, so it is given as 10. So m1 minus m2 into z by m1 plus m2, m1 plus m2 is 5. So simply its acceleration is 2. So if its acceleration is 2, how do I get its velocity after 1 second? Simple, v is u plus at. Okay. So velocity of this after 1 second is, it starts from rest, acceleration is 2 into time is 1 second. That's it. So its velocity is 2 meters per second. So that's a pretty basic question, just finding acceleration in the pulley system and then finding the velocity after some t seconds. Okay. So we'll move to the next question. Yep. So here there is a matching. So there is one column here and another column here. So there is still left. So ABCD is one column, PQRS is one column. So we need to match. It can be a multiple matching also, okay, one to many matching. So some values are given. Acceleration is given as z by 3. So wherever there is a, that is given as z by 3. M is mass of the block, T is tension, A pulley is acceleration of the pulley. So the variables are the letters, they represent the normal values, okay, general values. So now in each case the acceleration due to gravity is g. Okay. So first let us take this case. So what are the options? You need acceleration of the block and acceleration of the pulley. You need to compare them. So here directly in the diagram, acceleration of the pulley is given as A upwards. So how do I find acceleration of the block? We know when pulley is moving, acceleration of the pulley is average of the accelerations on both the ends of the string. Okay. So here if I use the same, acceleration of the pulley is A and let us say it has an acceleration A dash or A1 simply. So acceleration on one side is A1 and acceleration on the other side is 0 because it is fixed. So A1 plus 0 by 2. So acceleration of the block is 2 times of A. So definitely not this option. In this option you have acceleration of block less than A. And here acceleration of the pulley is less than or equals to A. It is not less than or equals to A, it is just given as A. So let us look at the other two options also. You have tension greater than mg, force fixed on the, force on the fixed support. So this is the tension here and this is the force on the fixed spring. So but here there is a single string. So T is equals to T1. Okay. So I need to find the tension now. So how do I find the tension? Even I need not find the tension. is just asking whether it is more than mg or not. So it has an acceleration a1 upwards. So how do I find tension? T minus mg is m into a1, or tension is mg plus ma1. Okay. So tension is definitely more than mg. So that option is correct. Okay. That can be matched to this. So that is option R. Okay. Next, what about the next option? Yeah, so the next option says T1 is greater than 3 by 2 mg. Force on the fixed part. Yeah, so force on the fixed part is also T. T is mg plus ma1. So a1 I already got as 2a. So mg plus 2ma. So T minus mg plus 2ma. So we don't know whether it is more than, a is given as z by 3. So we can substitute here. So mg plus 2m into z by 3. Okay. So that is 5 by 3 mg. So 5 by 3 mg, that is definitely less than 3 by 2 mg. So that option is not applicable to it. It says 3 by 2 mg, tension is more than 3 by 2 mg, but here it is just 5 by 3 mg. Okay. Next, let's take the second option. Again, I need to find acceleration of pulley and acceleration of block. So here acceleration of block is unknown, but acceleration of this end is given as a upwards. So again I use the same formula, that is acceleration of pulley is average of the accelerations on the two ends. On one end you have acceleration a upwards, on the other end it is again 0 by 2. So acceleration of the pulley is a by 2. So this option is correct, acceleration of the pulley is less than a. Okay. And how about acceleration of block? How do I find acceleration of block? So here pulley is directly attached to the block. So acceleration of the block is also a by 2. So acceleration of the block is less than a. Next, we need to find tensions. Tension in the string, this is T, and tension on the support, both need to be found out. So how do I find tension here? Again I write a small equation, acceleration of the block is a by 2 upwards. So I can write equation for tension, T is m into g plus a. So tension acting in the string is m into g plus acceleration of the block, that is a by 2. Okay. A value is given as z by 3. So that is m into g plus z by 6. So mg plus mg by 6 is tension. The option says it is just greater than mg. So obviously it is greater than mg. So I can say here, you can say P and Q are also correct. Option R is also correct for this. Okay. P and Q are also correct. Acceleration of block is less than a. Acceleration of pulley is also less than a. Okay. Next, I need force on this. So here I need T1. So I clearly know this is T. So these two should be T by 2 and T by 2. Net force on the should be 0. So string, in the upper string tension should be T by 2 and T by 2. That is T by 2 in this string. Now what is the force acting on this? Force acting on the upper part T1 is T by 2, that is half of this, that is mg by 2 plus half of mg by 6, mg by 12. So this cannot be more than 3 mg by 2. Right. In the last part it says tension or force acting on this fixed support is more than 3 by 2 mg, it cannot be, okay, because it is just less than mg even. Let's take this again. So here how do I find acceleration of the block? So again if I assume that this pulley is moving upwards by x, okay. The pulley which is in this position, let's say it moves upwards by a distance x. Okay. So we have already seen one similar problem to this. So what is the extra length of the thread released here? If the pulley moves from this point to this point, x on each side is freed, right? X length of the thread on each side is free. So the extra length that is available is 2x. So if this pulley moves by distance x, this point here can move by 2x. Okay. So that means this point's acceleration is always double the acceleration of the pulley. So if this point's acceleration is a, pulley's acceleration is a by 2. So if pulley acceleration is a by 2, block is also attached to it. So block also will have the same acceleration a by 2. So again acceleration of the pulley and acceleration of the block both are less than a. Okay. Next, how do we find tensions? T and T dash are required. So first let's find T. Again I write an equation for this, force equation. So T minus mg is m into a by 2. So tension is mg plus ma by 6 again, m into a is g by 3, so mg by 6. So again tension is greater than mg. So for this also option R is applicable, tension more than mg. And how about this tension T1? Again net force on the pulley should be 0, right? So on the pulley, one tension T is acting here, at the center there is, this is T. So this part will have T by 2 and T by 2. Because on the lower pulley net force should be 0. T is acting downwards, T by 2 upwards. So in the bigger string, tension is just T by 2. So here there is another force. On the upper pulley there are 3 threads. So here the net tension T1 should be 3T by 2. So T1 will be 3T by 2. So that is 3 by 2 into mg plus 3 by 2 into mg by 6. So clearly that is more than mg, more than 3 by 2 mg. So option S is also correct for this. Again here, how do you find the acceleration again? I can use a string constraint also. Okay. Here we used by the displacement method. If it moves by displacement x, this should displace by 2x. I can use string constraint also, that is sigma t bar dot v bar equals to 0. So let us say velocity of this point is v and velocity of this block is v1 upwards. Okay. So tension acting, let us say it is T here, T in this string. So tension acting in this is also T, tension acting here is 2T. Sorry. So he has already specified what is T. So let us assume from this side. So in the question it is always specified this as T. So this tension should be T. So which means this should be T by 2 and this should be T by 2. So now I write sigma T dot V at the ends. So at this point there is an acceleration A downwards, tension T by 2 upwards. So dot product is negative, T by 2 into minus A. Okay. T by 2 upwards is acting on this point, it has an acceleration downwards, right. Next at these ends, T by 2 is acting upwards and T is acting here. So I say 3T by 2 into acceleration of this is A1. So that should be 0. Sigma T dot V is 0 or sigma T dot A is 0. Okay. So I take this acceleration as A1, its acceleration is already given as A. So T by 2 into A, and here the total tension acting is 3T by 2. So 3T by 2 into A1. So what do I get here? I get A is equals to 3A1 or A1 is A by 3. So acceleration of this block is just A by 3, again less than A. So the first two options are applicable. And how do I find acceleration of this pulley again? Acceleration of this pulley I can find again A1 plus A2 by 2. So acceleration of the pulley in this case is A1 bar plus A2 bar by 2. So this point has acceleration A by 3 upwards, this has A downwards. So A1 bar plus A2 bar by 2. Okay. This point has acceleration in downward direction, this point has acceleration in upward direction. Okay. So that is acceleration of pulley A by 3 minus A by 2 or A minus A by 3 by 2. So here I calculated acceleration in upward direction, I got it as negative, minus 2A by 6 or minus A by 3. So upward acceleration is negative means pulley is actually moving downwards. Okay. Or I can directly say this string is directly connected to this block, right. So if this block moves upwards, this pulley should move downwards. Block is moving up with A by 3. So pulley should move down by A by 3. Okay. Next, tension also we can find in the same way. What is total force acting on this mass? In upward direction it is T plus T by 2, 3T by 2. So 3T by 2, total force acting on this is 3T by 2, downwards minus mg. So that is equals to m into its acceleration. Its acceleration is A by 3. Okay. A is already g by 3. So this is g by 9. So I get 3T by 2 as mg plus m into g by 9, 10 mg by 9. So that is 20 by 27. 20 mg by 27, this is less than mg. So this option is not applicable to it, only P and Q. Originally acceleration of block and acceleration of pulley, both are less than A. Okay. And how do I find T1? T1 is simply 2T. So T1 in this case will be 2T. So 2 times of this, so that is 40 mg by 27. That's clearly not more than 3 mg by 2. Okay. So we can find acceleration and tension in all the cases. Okay. So there is another question here. From the given diagram, choose the correct option. Okay. So there is a diagram given here, pulleys and strings. So now let's see the statements. You need acceleration of the block A and acceleration of the block B, basically, right? So we'll start assuming tensions, because in a single string tension should be same. So if I assume tension in this string is T, so tension here is T, tension here is also T, tension here is 2T. Okay. Now if this string tension is T, T and T, total 2T is acting on this. So this is 2T, it's the same string, it's all the same string, so there is 2T everywhere. Okay. But now on this pulley net force should be 0, right? Net upward force is 4T, net downward force is T. So that net force should be 0, which means tension should be 0. The only possibility for this equation to be satisfied, upward force 4T, downward force T. So net force should be 0, that is tension should be 0. So tension is 0 means acceleration of block A is 0. This is correct. Next, acceleration of block B. So if tension is 0, again on block B, only gravity is acting. So if only gravity is acting, its acceleration will be z downwards. This is also correct. So it must be choose the correct options. Okay. And acceleration of block A is non-zero. No, acceleration of block A is clearly 0. Tension in the string connecting A is 0. Correct. Tension is also 0. So only this is the wrong option and all the other 3 are correct. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much.